No, what's that talk? No? I want to thank, first and foremost, Hagoyin, Rabbi Yosef Yafi, the whole Olam. You have a lot of Chassidim here. In fact, by the way, Rabbi Yafi, you get me nervous when you come, because I'm also not bad. Yeah. Don't forget me. I was just Meshabeach, a few younger light. 2 younger light. I said how great they. I meant it. It was rather serious. Oh yeah. Torah anytime. Thanks a million, everybody. And Rev Zev Golombek for joining us, and Springhill Times for enhancing the whole matzah. And all the Heiligid. Now, what was I saying? What did I say? I guess it's all right. That's called. Who? Yeah, and I meant it. I was, you're this and you're that, and it was good. But then I says, I can't leave myself out. He took me nazazah. I'm also not bad. I'm not bad. You know what Rabban Kreis used to say? Ich bin euch a kind. I have a lot of shemesh, by the way. My jokes, I'm not Amerikaner. There's nothing wrong with Amerikaners. I'm quoting Altamiras, My jokes, I'm a always gearbeitet. My jokes are not stam, sure. Anyway, I spoke to a guy on the phone. Rabbi said, you're not going to like this. He has a medical problem. I'm trying to get him less afraid. His blood pressure problem started as soon as he went to the doctor. The Matthias. He had a little problem. Now, the doctor, you walk in and the nurse, if she's got a serious look, if the doctor is one of those, then your blood pressure, without saying anything, and as you wait, it goes up. The Lord, where'd you get the blood pressure problem from? You go to the doctor. You want a problem? Go to a doctor. You'll get one. If you didn't have a problem before, they'll help you out. It's a Matthias. They're well-meaning. I don't mean that bad. He's a nice doctor. He's sweet. He's good. But let me just check you again. My Rebbe Rabbi said, the building can kill you. You don't have to see the doctor. You walk into a hospital and you see people walking around, the doctors and the nurses and the hospital beds. You're sick on the spot. Just walk in there. If you're not sick by then, God's good. Anyway, so he told us, I'm trying to get him out of it. How do you get the guy out of it? I told him something. I got to get the guy to laugh. I says, look, what are you afraid of? Especially blood pressure. It's not easy. What are you afraid of? You're afraid this is it's scary. They're all scary. But here, you're scared. Was kann schon sein? You'll die. Is was. Stop it. So, the world's turning over? Stop it. I want to tell you. You want a school of Arichas Yamim? Don't be so afraid of death. Don't be so scared. You're so scared of dying. If you're not so worried, what's going to be with me? Of course, you have to take care of yourself. But, okay, now, I met an elderly Yid. He didn't look a day older than 60. He was 80. He went through a year of Auschwitz. He was in a concentration camp. I never saw anything like it. He was a chilled, relaxed, right here in Lake Ziskai. Yid'll lose Jews are. There's sugar. Even not the Americans, they're also Gishma, I'm joking. But the Amaligir, Peish, Ziskai Dalain. I heard Yehuda Allbaum speak in a camp. It was a group that I was just passed by and he said, you gotta have a b'tachon 24 hours a day. Does that sound like? Anyway. Kommt da rein, macht's a chemisch. The vodka is schön dumm and makes you come in. So, kommt da rein, there's chairs all over the place. Baruch atah Eloheinu Eloheinu melech haolam, shahak olim midbarei.
Amen.
All right, all my chassidim. How are you going to work this out? I'll leave that to the gabbais. Now, now, so the guy didn't look a day older than 60. He was 80, he told me, and he was relaxed. And he says, listen to the way he talks. Ja, ist nicht gewesen, also geht, aber alles ist fine. He says, wo soll noch tun? He told me this. Ich habe eine Tour. Nothing bothers me. He told me this. My doctor told me, pardon my expression. I once heard Rav Scheinberg say it. And he said, but pardon my, I don't want to really say it out. But the doctor told him, you're such a calm guy. Even if you dash dead, right? You know what I wanted to say. Even if you drop dead, it also wouldn't bother you. The doctor told him that. That's why he's 80 and he looks 60. He's just not into that sugya. What's going to be? I know another Yid. His name was Mr. Gelb here in Lakewood. Zizkite also. He went to the lager. He had it much easier than everyone else. He told me he had Germans. They pumped were nice. For a year, he had to take these quarries. Hashem Yerachim, he had worked them to the bone to kill them. And this Olam, they were dafka nice to them. These tainas, they weren't from Hitler Youth, they're different. I don't know if Amolagadators, Amolagamalaikim or Bessa, I don't know what's shot in it. But they're all nice. And they made a shtickle that it should look like they're working, just in case they shouldn't get caught. They piled them up on a wagon, the stuff. Underneath, there was nothing inside. It looked on the outside like they were working hard. And they said, go up on the hill and go eat sandwiches all day. We'll help you out. Chill out. He had a year of doing nothing and laughing his head off. This is under the Germans. I hold because he was such a happy person. He used to laugh. He just opened his mouth. He was a Hungarian. Mr. Gelb. Anybody know his son learned in Brisk? You know what that is? Yeah? That's what it is. I was like anything. I says, ihr sagt doch gar nicht. You know what he told me? Man Vab is been moitze mit die Sachen. Really good. My wife is moitze me. You'll do the worrying, Rebbetzin. Keep me out of that stuff. I love that. I'm all Yidden. Anyway. So he... You know that the first name given to any Jew is, let's laugh, Yitzchak. Yitzchak. Continue. Yitzchak is Lashon, future. That means this goes on forever. That's Aleph. Where's the Gemara? Arei Psachim, Rabbah would not open up Lat Gemara before he made a joke. Where's that? No, everybody knows it. First, mach a joke. Then he said, Be'em Avira, Malan Teira. You know what Torah is? Be'em Avira, somebody wrote me a note the other day. Oh boy, it was so geschmack. Rabbi Mendel, what am I going to do with Chazal? That when you learn Torah, it has to be Be'ema, Be'yira, Be'resis, Be'zeya. What do I do with that? I went berserk. I says, get away! It's not for you! But it's halachim and I 100 Chazals. How about if there's Hashem b'simcha? Let's try that one. Why do you have to pick this one for? You have to. He picked that. He wants the Tuzah Charayin and that. So it's not your Chazal. It's not. Let the Gdolim take care of it. What? The Chazal the what? That's right. Get a hold. You have to get the Chazal that's for you. There are Chazals that are Kodesh Kedoshim, but for you it's poison. How about Kol Ha'isa B'Torah U'Mafsik Ma'achil and Oisei Gach later Samim. You like that? You know what that means? You're in the middle of learning and you stop for a second. Get ready. They're going to give you hot coals. Don't make fun of it. A Chazal. You don't play games with Chazals. I'm making my jokes, but it is Kodesh Kedoshim. And till today, I believe there's people out there that could use it. It won't kill them. Whatever. People are different. It's not the end of the world. A little yira. But for a lot of people, you're picking gay. What are you trying to do? Commit suicide? You know. What do you want to do to yourself? You get all stressed. So, I have to think of something to say. I don't prepare, by the way. When I go like this, I'm not in the Haicha Ilamas. I'm just thinking, what should I tell these clever? It's no big secrets. Even though I go like this, I'm not flying high. I'm not a real Rebbe. I'm just trying to think what to say next. What should I say next? What should I say? Now, it shouldn't look. It's actually a covered issue. If I pause too long, they're going to think, does he know what he's? Doesn't know what to say. A lot of people, they're under stress because whenever they talk fast because they're afraid if you lapse too much in the middle, people will think you have nothing to say. And that's going to get them nervous. I know somebody on dates, Shem Yirachem. On dates is whole coaching, how to go on a date, and it should be okay. Because if you got to not talk for 5 minutes straight, boom, this is not a shidduch. How do you do that? You got to talk, I got to talk, you got to show you're able to talk. I knew Yidden that used to wait till Mashiach. Kibtzaranu, machzachemish. They would hesitate. Ramei Chodesh he was murdered. Whoever knew him, Ramei Chodesh, when he spoke, and when you asked him something, you could wait. I'm taking my time. And you had to wait till he got his answer. He always kept you waiting. He didn't care. Because he was a secure person. And I want to say about Slobodkin. Now listen close. Ramei Chodesh. Baruch Matchazrachi's Rebbitzin. So the Zengizin Shtak of Meir Simshana. She is Ramei Chodesh's daughter. Kibtzarayin, Chushev Yidin. The cream have arrived. All the best people. Kibtzarayin, Rabbi Schreiber, Mach Tzachemish, Rabbi Garten. Now, there's room. Give. Wait, I want them to hear this. I want 1 second. Are they listening, the guys in that thing? Rabbi Sai, what should I do? How many? What was the last count? 500?
68.
Where are they? Outside? You say there's a long line? Oh, okay. I have to get a speaker a few blocks away. You know how big I am? You don't know. I'm so big. I ben ich gereis. Not shaykh. I'm so spoiled for myself. Do you know? I don't want to say who it is. One of the big mashkichim who was nifter recently, one of the Americaners, he said, Mamish my vote. I understood. I have to look it over. He said, Mamish my vote. He said, everyone's busy and spoiled. Him. That Rosh Hashiva, what? That Bocha Steiten, this Gvir, what he's giving, that doctor, he's dedicated, this. Do you ever sit down doing that on yourself? I don't recommend you do it in anyone else. First, do it on you. But there's nothing in me. I guarantee you, all those people you're raving over, they sound just like you. There's nothing in me. Every guy thinks everyone else is ooh, ah. And I'm never. Okay, now, what did I want to say? What was I talking about? No, you got to help me out.
Time speaking.
Who?
They took their time speaking.
Yeah, okay. Who? Oh, daughter. Ah, hear this. They wrote the following. This is hafl of a fella. This is mamish hafl of a fella. Kedai just to hit us alone. The Slabodka Olam, the Alta was nifted. Alta was Slabodka. The whole lake would say thank you to the Alta. Whole Mir, the lake would, every yeshiva in the world, Slabodka. Thank the Alta of Slabodka. Everybody owes him. You have no musig who he was. Reb Nosson told me, nobody has any musig who that man was. His father was a heisbocher by him. He slept by him. Now, I don't know if this story is true. That is true. Reb Nosson Wachflegel told me, no one has no musig how big the man was. That I heard me pekotche. The Alta of Slabodka. A kleinigkeit. I don't know, he could do something l'malam and ateva. Very lamal. He could think of two things at once. And he told Moshe Yomtov, who Yazeda, he told Elta Zeda.
Goes with the story.
What?
One of the Dugma, the story went, is that when they broke off, the classes basically solved classes.
When he,
When
right.
they broke off, who supported the other yeshiva?
He supported the Alta.
The Alta, the one that broke off from him, he supported the other yeshiva.
You're kidding.
That was the mice that he said.
Huffle of a fella. And he said he could think of two things in one shot. He was a malaman ateb. He's a malachalikin. That man accomplished with his life. What was behind it? You know, he put the Mir Yeshiva on their feet. Mir Yeshiva would have gone nowhere. But he made a shachmat. He made a shidduch for a reason. Those days he made a shidduch. I'm allowed to joke. I don't mean. I maybe shouldn't say it. But he made a shidduch. His daughter married the Rav of Mir's daughter. His son, Rabbi Yudel. As soon as Rabbi Yudel moved in, all the Slabotka Chevra moved in with him into the Mir. And Musa parked itself into Mir. It became a new yeshiva. Until that happened. I think then they brought in Rabbi Rucham, because they had a Ruach of Musa. Till then, without a Ruach of Musa, those days, forget it. And the Alta and Slabotka, they said on him, when he did that shidduch, and he got his Rabbi Yudel to do the shidduch with Bel Baruch Kamei's daughter, that was shachmat. The Alta, what? Now I got Musa, and now I'm taking over the place. And the whole Mir turned around. They started getting Musa. They got Rabbi Rucham, and it became the greatest yeshiva. Tells, he made tells. Tells had Yerufyanis until a whole bunch of Slobodkiniks got involved. The Alta, he ran the world. His nervoyim, his greatness. And Kolchkin is owned. The Lakewood is him. Chaim Berlin is him. Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky and Tarvadas. That's all the Alta and Slobodka. Baltimore, it's him. All his Talmidim. Rav Shach was the Talmud of the Alta and Slobodka. Now, what was his greatness? Now listen closely. It's Kedai to hit us. The Alta and Slobodka, when he had, when he was nifta, they wanted to write a sefer, or Hatzafin, all about him, his shittas. So we'll talk about what did he say about sheker, about emes. He was in Musa, Zehidus, Zerizus, Gaiva, Kas, Sablonis. There wasn't one negative midah that he ever talked about. That's what I heard. That's what it's. You heard the Azay Zok Beneba. Whatever it really happened, basically. He was only positive. He didn't talk about Kas, he talked about Sablonis. He didn't talk about Sheker, he spoke about Emes. He did not speak about anything negative. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That's the success. Positive. I know super mutzlach. I don't want to go into details. Everyone looks at him like what he's done things. Nobody could be masik. I just found out. I did my research on him. Punkti had the same. You couldn't get a negative word out of his mouth. He always positive. No, it's going to be. He did an aveira. You know what the Slonama say? A person who can't daven with the biggest hisrakshis, if they're doing the worst aveira in the world, has no shaykhis, not with Yiddishkeit, not with Chassidus, he's out of it. And Slabotka, they're for sure held like that. Don't get involved in negative stuff. Don't get away. Get away from that stuff. It's not healthy. And it's work. Oh, is it work? I wanted to criticize somebody. I'll say this, Barabam. I wanted to criticize somebody. I was involved in a shalom bias. I get very nervous. I tried, they should say nice things. I was matzel people left and right with that stuff. Just be a monkey. In Novandik they said, be a meisakai, but say positive. Watch what happens. It's going to change, even though you don't want it, you don't mean it. So one of the parties says, I can't do it. I don't see anything good in the other party. I went berserk. And later on I said, I had two stories where I heard one party saying about the other one, shrekloch, and I was, until Vahi Hayan, and I said, Taket, because so-and-so, I had it all figured out. A certain type that you could really blast them. They think they own the world, whatever, different types of people that, that's why they show the bias problems. You got it all figured out. The whole world's got their number. They're not so popular in the world, but that's why it's not working, because whatever. And I had two people on the phone with me, Lanetzach, until one day they told me, I says, one second, what do you think of your spouse in kach v'kach? And it was a negative thing. And I said, it's over. I'm totally on the other side. I didn't know. Both cases, it was the exact same thing. And both cases is a ikuv she'en kamoyu in a marriage, that if their spouse don't think that of you, privately I'll tell you what it is. If that spouse doesn't hold kach v'kach, I don't blame him for hating you. I can hear it. And I was so much on this side because I was spending hours with this person, being machazik and everything, until look how you have to be done, a person with kapschus. You don't know. Nobody, I don't care if he's a bum's bum. No being done, anybody. Lekapschus. Everybody. Only look, especially yourself. Be done. Me. Lekapschus. Did you hear that? Not easy. You got a horror how hard it is to be done lekapschus. Yourself. It's much easier other people. I told you what I did. I'm trying to be a ayin teva. So there's a lot of other people that give out stuff. Mendel, the whole world stands on you. You're bטחון weekly. That's the whole world. What about so and so also gives nice stuff, and so he might even be a bit more, than Mendel. And this guy, who he is. And there's other people that do similar stuff than I do. So, and what do you do all day, Mendel? Nobody like me. Nobody comes near me. That's right. Ani ba'afsi oyin. Shita. Make a shita out of it. It's gavaldik. No, there's no one near me. Ugh. They're nice people, though. Chas v'sholom. How does it come to Mendel? Mendel is rizik. There's no one near. Karsurle raglai. Halavai, they should come near who I am. Now listen closely. I do that when I meet people. People like it. They laugh a little. It gets them to laugh. It's good, but that alone is good. How big I am. Oh, everyone laughs. Then I say, by the way, I bet Emes holds from you, maybe even better than me, and that's a lot. Sure. But so that's me. I decided I need a week off. Genug mit sich. I heard a shmooze from a big Baal Musa. Zich, the way they say it. Zich, also zich. Zich. All you talk about it yourself. You can put in the air conditioner. Oh, in such weather, I forgot. It doesn't make sense. But it's such a vama oilam. So, anyway, all you talk about is zich. I remember hearing this. And I say, when I speak, yes, that's exactly what I want. Zich and only zich. Now listen closely. But what about Yena? You're the only guy that, no one else? You? Ani b'afsi yoyin. What do you think you are? Russia, Marusha, Nazis, Deutschland, über alles. What do you think you are? I'm better than the whole world. Die bist besser von the... We were all raised on that. Die bist besser von der ganzen Welt. You're better than the whole world. Who do you think you are? Right? You ever hear that? Okay. What do you think? A chutzpah. A gaiva. Chutzpah. Listen to this. I took off a week. I said, this week, no more Mendel. Laws up. You're blown up here already. You think you own the world already. Pick somebody, the guy that thinks he's like, that you have midis with him. Makama midis, like, you have, what do they call them? The two people that they both repair shoes. They love each other. They're competitors. He's one of those. I just spent a week on him. I did it for 3 days. All I talked about was him. Rabbi said, I'm dead serious. It was so much easier to do that than to say Mendel owns the world. I promise you. It was so easy, I stopped the whole thing. Back to Gaius! Nor Gaius! You know how easy it is? He's a great guy, and I was telling everybody, I was mamish happy. I was ready to give out his stuff. And so I felt so like, let's know him, Mendel, forget about Mendel. It was so easy to do that. And I said, you don't know where he's holding these days. People are living in Dimion. The Polish, when they went to war in World War II, they were unfortunately not quite intelligent. The Polish, I hope there's no Polish around here, but the Polish Jews don't mind hearing this. They were such anti-Semitic. Their underground against the Nazis was automatically against the Jews too, you know that? They were the Shem Arudim. They're the Polish. Anyway, so so what did they do? They went to war against the Germans. And there's pictures. I'll show you pictures. They're all holding these big, giant spears, lances, like they look like back of the Middle Ages. Like, you ever hear these knights, K-N-I-G-H-T-S, these knights with the helmets? I don't know if they had the helmets, but the captains were all on gorgeous-looking white horses. I can show you a picture. Gorgeous, gorgeous horses. You can tell they put keiches instead, and they bred them, and they, whatever it is. And then the whole Polish army went to invade the Germans. When the Germans said, we're going to attack tomorrow Poland, Poland said, we'll show them. And they were dressed up, tishpag, uniforms. And they only had the white horses. The regular soldier had a normal looking horse, but they had these gorgeous white horses. And they went to battle, and all the Polish, they were going to invade the Germans. I think Poland was dead in 2 weeks. Well, how long did it take?
6 days.
What?
They surrendered in 6 days.
6 days. It didn't even take 6 days. By the way, there were such Poles, the Polish, they had spies. Poland was flooded with German spies. You know that? Half the Polish were not loyal to their own Polish. And they were, the grocery store guy that the Yid used to go to all his life, suddenly, yes, he called the Gestapo, I'm, surprise, surprise, I'm one of them. You can report, I know he's been buying for me for the last 30 years, that family, Greenbergs and Schneiders and Cohens, and they gave them all away. It's not just Jews. They were helping the Germans for years, for 10 years. Hitler was from 33 to 39, not 10 years, whatever. He had a lot of spy, forget it. And they lost their pants. They were dealing with tanks. A tank, one tank, boom. The captain, a Shana captain, he'll get a few horses in one shot. And they go flying, killing. What's going on? If you don't know what you're doing, get out of the battle. I'm telling you, if you don't fight the battle right, you look like a poya. The battle is, you don't hold from yourself. You're fighting the wrong battle. You want to put yourself down more? Go ahead. The Welt says, you want to avoid criticism? Say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. You want to fight? No, I'm going to stop myself cold turkey. Don't listen to me. Not everybody's ready to go along with my Zachen. You'll get a lamhaba without Mendel. I'm very serious about this. I have a big point. For some people, it's pekuach nefesh. They better, if they're capable. Some people can't. You know what it means to change your way of thinking? It's work. People tell Mendel, you're too liberal. I says, you know how hard it is to be liberal like me? Think it's easy? Much as on this. You know how many thousands of voices are saying, Mendel, cut it out. See what happened? You see that? I'm really not so bad anymore. At this point, I'm already That's all I wanted to say. So now, you sound like a Balgaivanik. When the Mama Rivka got Yaakov Avinu to be a Cheverman, first of all, Yaakov did that twice. Now, I don't like this vod. I'm going to say it anyway, because we have no right to touch up these gedolim. Big people did say these type of things. I feel uncomfortable, but I'll say it. For us, forget about Yaakov Avinu. No one has any musig who he was. Yaakov Avinu was born, Yaakov Avinu Esav, he was holding on to Esav's fashtunken foot. The heel is the lowest part of the body. He was born with Esav's holding Yoda Echez Ba'kev Esav. And his father goes ahead, Yaakov. What kind of name are you giving me? For the rest of my life, I have to remember how I was born? It was a tragedy, holding on to Esav's fashtunken afus. You know, the akev is the part that touches the ground. That's always dirty. And that's his name. He's going to go around. You know, there was a man in his, you know, Miriam. You know what her name was? Bitter. No? How do you name a kid bitter? And why? Because she was born in the middle of the Holocaust. That's right. So they called her Miriam, bitter. What are you doing to her? How's she going to get along with her friends? What are they going to say? Oh, bitter. By them it meant bitter. How's bitter doing? How you feel? How's the smelly heel doing? That's his name? What's up, shot? No one thinks about these things. I'll tell you better. When Aaron Kodesh was captured, a baby was born. Pinchas, her husband, was killed. Chafni and Pinchas are the two sons of Eliakim. And when they went to war, and the Aaron Kodesh was captured, and when she heard, Rabbi Miller tells us, the wife of Pinchas was giving birth when she heard that the Jews lost the battle. And then she heard that her husband was killed. And then she heard that the Aaron Kodesh was captured. She was nifta from aggravation. But just in time to name her baby Kavod. No Kavod. That's what you name a kid. He's going to see a therapist till Mashiach. You're born in that matzav, Kavod. In Goyim call it Ichabod. That's what it's a name. I mean, the Goyish world, they know Tanakh, in their own language, Ichabod. Kavod. That's what you call the kid. What's going on? You're making him, you're messing. What are you doing to the poor kid? Say something nice. I'm just going to tell you something. That by us Jews, anybody who lives with Gamzu L'Teva mentality, that the Maharami Prague says, the extreme evil can become extreme good. Avram Avinu has no children. For 100 years, what does the Eibishter tell him? Come outside, count all the Kirchavim. That's how many kids you're getting. I don't have anything, and you're telling me I'm going to have so much that you can't even count it. That's a lesson in Bטחון. The beginning of Klal Yisrael is, you have zero minus. You have Bטחון. In that same area, you'll be knocking. How do you like that boy? Hafel of a fella. I tell you, that's why when you get to Daven, it says, Vayatiru. You know what Asar means? It's a Gemara in Sukkah. If you dalgriz it. Asar means, it's a farm tool, they go topsy-turvy. When you need a big mifus, it's going to be just the opposite. So why did Yitzchak daven with Vayet Asar? Because that's me. I'll laugh at the world. My whole name is, let's laugh it off. The whole Teva is a joke by the Eibishter. The whole everything is a galechta. We laugh, us Jews. Yitzchak's name. You know, it's so interesting. You have Yitzchak Avinu, three. Matama, he liked chocolate chip cookies. Kaviyachol. Matamim Asher. Remember? He likes good food. What? Leila Tamima. Tzachik and Mishnah. Whatever it means. Tzachik. Here he is. Passes Yitzchak laughing. Joked around. It's a pasuk. And number 3, Vayitzer Yitzchak Lasuach Masodeh. His davening is not, mispalel. No, Lasuach. Let's schmooze around. Mach freilach. Isn't that interesting? Yitzchak is a freilach yid. Allah tzachais from the belt. He's laughing all over the place. He's enjoying everything. And that's the same person that was ready to give his life for the Yevishter. You don't chop with it. There's a Kabbalah. I saw this. Brought down Aruch HaShulchan. All the Yidden that died of Kiddush Hashem had zero pain. You know that? They were burning in fire, didn't feel a thing. That's right. Those that about 900 years ago. I don't know about the time of the Inquisition. I'm not sure they were that madrega. But those Yidden at the Yedua, it's a Kabbalah, that they had no pain. I don't know what's going on with Yitzchak. Okay, this Yitzchak. But the simcha level of Yitzchak Avinu, because he was born with a good joke. Everyone's laughing. They're all laughing. That's a Jew. Laugh. The extreme opposite, Zok the Maral. Gamzula Tova. The worst thing will turn into the best thing. I saw it happen in my life many times. Because I sit on this and sit on this. It's not easy. And I always talk like that. You want to hear my latest mic? This is not normal. Not normal. 27-year-old Bacha. You heard this? I told you about this? 27. Father comes over to me. And he tells me, a Bacha calls me up. There's baggage in the family. And I'm already getting older. And I was just advised by my Rosh Yeshiva, you have to look into some problematics. You can't get a normal shidduch. A guy like you. You have problems. You'll have to settle for that. What should I do? I says, look, he tells you to do it, you can do it. But don't be surprised if you get the best shidduch in the world. Don't be impressed. Bטחון. 1 hour later, I get a phone call from somebody that I met several months ago. And he was crying to me about a 27-year-old son who has a serious physical problem. And he said, Bazallah, he never has one date and he's never getting married. I'll be telling you, he's just simply not marriage material for his matzav. I was screaming, don't ever say that! But it's crucial as a sign. I want you right now to start faking. And go around all those, he's getting the top shidduch, he's getting Givaldic. The guy calls me up 3 months later. He said, Rabbi Mendel, I took you serious. That's good. If you take Mendel serious, he'll be all right. I took you serious. And I lied all day. He's getting a top shidduch, a normal shidduch. 1 month after I met him, they read that shidduch. It took a while, they're engaged. Now listen to this. He got a girl beyond the Mitzianis, and she has a slight physical problem, which is a joke compared to what he has, and she couldn't care less. She says, no, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't care. I like him. She's overjoyed with him. He got herself. Now listen to what's going on here. One thing is going on here. An hour after I said that you can be the worst case and you'll still get the best thing, I get a phone call, boom, boom, just what happened. Brisk, speak positive, look what happens. How I speak like that, and sooner or later you'll see these things. Don't ever say anything negative, ever. That's number one. Number two, that the guy took me serious. That's the best. You take Mendel serious, you'll be all right. But don't worry about it. You can be skeptical too. I told you the Maisa with the guy who, he said, the doctor said he must get an MRI. If he doesn't get an MRI, he has a terrible thing, a growth of this and that. He must get a, I said, no MRI. Bye. They called me a week later. We didn't listen to you. We went to the doctor, and suddenly, wait, I don't think he needs an MRI. So, why do I like that story the best? Because they had no Amuna in the Rebbe. They didn't listen to the Rebbe. The Rebbe said, you don't need it. And they didn't listen. They told me the first thing he said on the phone, well, first of all, I did not listen to you. Oh, it's nice to hear that. You did not listen to me. And this, so Taina, that's my favorite story. You don't have to have any Amuna in the Rebbe. You don't need that with me. I'm the best Rebbe in the world. You don't even have to believe in me. I'll be mighty to you for believing in me. I believe so much in me. That's what I believe. I believe so much in my greatness that you don't need that stuff. You need a minute in the Rebbe also. This is history, you know? I got a few of those. I got better than this one. I have a whole family that turned around without Amuna. No, where am I?